Rise and shine, everybody. It's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The Drum Roadie Show, podcast 237, Wake and Bake the Morning Buzz, episode 114. Action. Alrighty, though, there, fellow slaves and earthlings, looky here. My name's Craig Reed, aka the Stoned Roadie, and also known as the world's most famous roadie that ever existed in the dawn of time since the dinosaurs roamed this fat, flat earth. And with me, as always, my co-pilot and the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what do we got going on this October the 25th? On a Friday. Yeah, it's
Friday.
Last of the week Friday. Thank God it's Friday, October the 25th, and it's a Wake and Bake Morning Buzz 114 there, Griff Martin, and take it away.
Yeah, as promised, I got a little Gene Odum on the road with Gene Odum at the end of this. So anybody that's never watched the podcast before, Gene Odum, he was Ronnie Van Zant's fishing buddy, security for the band, and everybody knows Gene Odum. You just type him in on Google and he'll come up 1,000 times. And anyway, I was over at Gene's house and I got him to sign some stuff for me that way we can offer stuff up on the podcast. And by the way, if anybody wants to bid on anything, go to Craig's email and bid it that way rather than leave it in the comments, or do both if you want, but make sure you send it to Craig in the email for sure. Yeah, so Gene's going to be on the end here. It's not a long one, Craig. It's only 20 minutes maybe. And he tells a cool story I got him to tell. So he may have already told it outside of here before, but never on the podcast. So stick around for a little Gene Odum at the end of the podcast. And then, Craig, you said that the vest is up to $150, right?
Yeah, vest is up to $150. Yeah, Sue M, she I told her somebody outbid her. She bid $125. She said, "Oh, just keep that for a donation and keep up the good work on the podcast." She said she's not the woman that I thought that I met in Hawaii. Oh God, years ago though. But
yeah,
yeah. But
well,
yeah,
damn, kind of. She could have pretended maybe and got some collectibles out of you. You'd have never got them, though. It'd have taken too long. She'd have gave up.
good looking lady, though. She sent me a picture of herself. She just showed me that she's not fat. Yeah, I guess she's the one that kind of posts that, that don't bother her that I talk about I fat shame. She gets a kick out of it.
Yeah, well, only the ones that aren't fat do.
Yeah, she's a nice looking lady.
There's some of them that that don't get mad.
And talk about nice looking ladies. My friend Justice Seguria, his wife Tina, they came to the Rockin' for a Reason, and they come to different places. Real nice couple. She's a really pretty lady, and he's a real nice guy. He's a guitar player and stuff. I guess she had some kind of radiation done on her 22 years ago. And here it's turned into cancer, and she's only got like They only gave her like 3 weeks to live a month ago. I guess she's in the hospital and she's severely dehydrated. And
Damn, that
yeah, they're
sucks.
giving her 6 months at the most to live. Yeah, it really sucks. She's really, really attractive lady. Keeps good, good care of herself. I hate to say stuff like this, but man, it's a damn shame that stuff like that's got to happen to people like her that take care of herself and stuff,
Yeah.
and all these other people that just don't give a shit what they look like, and they just eat a bunch of trash, and they'll die early from when their uh, arteries all clogged together with fat, but so it's just not fair sometimes.
Which is brings me to the point that Gene, has uh, found out that he has prostate cancer, and he talks a little bit about it in the end here. So you guys, prayers for Gene. He's gonna talk a little bit about it, but he's not sure. He has to get a biopsy, so he has to find out, how bad it is before he's going to get too excited. I think they caught it early, but we want to keep an eye on old Gene.
Yeah, I just sent him that $1,000. I called him and made sure that he still had that same address, and yeah, he said, "Man, I really appreciate everybody, donating. It really helps him out." So yeah,
Yeah, and he found out his son-in-law, I guess, has some heart problems or something. He had to drive up to Oklahoma. A guy just got back from the monument, and now he's jumping. He goes, "Man, go with me to Oklahoma." I said, "Damn, man, I'd rather get my ass beat and do that. I don't want to go. I don't want to go there again for a while, man. That drive was a mother, and I don't like to fly because not because I'm scared. It's just because of the germs. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, you guys stick around for that. And you said that the vest was up to 150, and thanks for that donation there. Was it Sue? Is her name?
Sue, yeah, Sue
Yeah,
M. Yeah,
Sue. Yes.
I haven't made up the sheet yet. I made up the sheet yet for her, but I haven't actually got the donation and the official certification, like Barney Fife says, waiting for his
Oh yeah.
for it was wanted papers to come in. I'm waiting for the official certification from the state before I post it.
And I haven't heard anything more on the book. If you want to just go ahead and close the book out,
Yeah,
Craig.
it's at $300. Yeah,
Yeah, I would just close that sucker
and
out.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Robert Wheatley have the CD things too. And we talked about sponsoring him, and he's sent us this camera here. It's,
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's a great camera.
yeah, that to auction on the on the podcast here. It's a Pocket 2, a DJI Pocket 2, and I haven't opened it. It's still brand new and stuff. And he's got a 2-year warranty on this that he got with it, and he said it's a $400 unit. And I got I got mine here. Oh, it's gonna give me a pain in the ass. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
Brian Bodkin had one of
that's
those at
cool.
at the theater there in Miami, Oklahoma,
Yeah,
and
this is a gimbal, so you can
yeah,
go like this, and that thing there will stay focused on wherever you're at.
yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah, it's really
crazy
cool.
cool.
I know a lot of people use their phone to do this kind of stuff, but yeah, it's a cool thing. I'm still learning how to use it. I just got it today. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's so how do you want to do that when it comes time? You want to figure out how you
We'll
want
just
to,
take bids on it.
yeah,
You
so
know, it's
anybody
like I said,
interested in it?
it's a $400 unit, and we're just gonna take bids on it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so what's your email, Craig? Can you put your email up there?
Oh yeah, I gotta learn how to turn this thing off. Just got it today. Yeah, I'll put my email up there.
And then, like I
Uh,
said, I was over at Gene's and he signed a bunch of letters of authenticity for me because we're going to start moving some Hell House dock wood, and that's something pretty cool right there. If somebody's interested in that, I still have to put together like a shadow box thing for it and make it look all official and nice. And it's going to be a limited amount on that because there's a limited amount of it. So we'll talk more to come on that one. But anybody wanting to make donations, and then that's your email, Craig.
oh, I'm looking for the right one. There it
There
is.
it is. Yeah, there's Craig's email and his mailing
Yeah.
address.
Yeah,
So
so anybody wants to look up the this camera on the internet and see what all it does, it's a Pocket 2 is what it's called. The DJI Pocket 2. And it's a $400 unit. And so yeah, take bids on it. Somebody might get a good deal on it. A lot of people these days use their phone. Not a lot of people use a camera, but it takes video and it takes still pictures, and it's real
yeah,
cool.
and we want whoever gets it to get a deal on it. They shouldn't have to pay like what it would cost full price.
No,
Yeah, we want you to get a deal.
yeah.
So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into these questions, Craig. We got quite a few of them, and then we got the video at the end. So we'll get hopping. And there's some pretty cool comments and things in here. Um, right off the bat, you remember I was telling the Kurt Cobain trivia story about how Dave Grohl ran into the guy in the desert that was wearing a Kurt Cobain
Oh
T-shirt.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Teutonic Truth says Cobain was a pussy. Nothing conservative about him. The planet is better off without him. Yeah. Well, I mean, man, Neil Young is a big liberal, but I love his music, you know. I saw an interview with Neil Young the other day. He said he still smokes weed. He likes to he likes to write a song, and then once he gets it recorded, he likes to break out a doob and listen to his song. He's pretty funny, I have to say, man. This political crap is, I wish people would just, I don't know, not be liberal. That's what I wish.
I
But
think
here's,
I think Kama is just a little too far left for even demish
oh my God, yeah.
liberals. I mean,
But
it's crazy.
I have another little trivia story, rock trivia story, but this doesn't have to do. I don't know. They're all dead, so we don't know what they were. But Harry Nilsson had a flat in London, England, and some of you people might not know this, but he used to let people stay there when they were in London, when they were visiting England, London, and Mama Cass actually died in Harry Nilsson's flat in the bedroom in one of his rooms in that flat. And I think it was 4 years later, Keith Moon died in the same bed. That's kind of
Wow.
crazy right there. And you guys can look that up because I didn't believe it when I heard it, but it's true, man. And Harry Nilsson, they said, well, can Keith Moon stay there? And he goes, no, man. No, we don't want to lose him. And he's like, what are you talking? Well, yeah, that's a hex going on in there. And sure as shit, Keith Moon dies in the bed. So,
Why is it that strange?
so you guys can pick that to death on the internet if you don't believe me, and then let me know if I was lying. Um, old Scooter Weed says guy next door to him has a Harris sign in her lawn, and yesterday he went out there and put a flag up that says Harris is an idiot, and the guy got pissed. Yeah, man, I got a neighbor who's got a Harris sign out there, and I I joke around with him a little bit before I knew that, and I pulled up there, I saw him walking his dog, and I said, "Man, you all right?" And he goes, "Yeah, why?" And I go, "Man, you don't look good." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You can't be." I said, "There's something wrong with you, man." He's like what? And I said, "You're voting for that damn communist. That's what." "Oh, that's my wife." And I said, "Well, just straighten her ass out, man." Yeah.
Here I'm eating some black
Yeah.
walnuts there to kill my parasites. Where you don't think there's any parasite. Yeah, chocolate covered black walnuts. Yeah.
Well, you might start feeling them try to crawl out of your ass, Craig.
Well, yeah, I've been
Has your ass
crawling
been
out of my
itching?
ass while we're doing the podcast here.
Has it been itching lately? Because that's how you know, man. That's how you know you got him when it starts itching. Then you got to get that flashlight. Oh, Joe Schmo, you guys will be going to the monument next year. Trump will be running the show. This is a movie. Wake up, people. This is all just a movie. The real Biden is dead. They dealt with him in Gitmo, and the current President Biden is an actor. Yeah, man, you've been watching old Charlie Ward. Remember Charlie Ward, Craig?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he says, yeah, this is all a movie. And then there are people that believe that actually the good hats have taken over, and that they can't reveal all the nasty shit that all these people, these satanic people that run the world, have been doing all these years. So they're creating this whole movie for you to wake up. And they've already killed Hillary and Bill, and all of these people have hung in Gitmo, and these are all actors. That's real. He's Joe Schmo. He's one of these. So if you think Craig and I have a tinfoil hat on, how about old Joe Schmo?
Somebody was telling me that the other day, that this is all just a movie. It's already all played out.
I don't discount it. He could be right. I'm not.
It's been so corrupt. People just still don't believe it. They're just, they're still in disbelief.
Yeah, and here's something that's mighty strange. And I was talking.
Well, why don't they fix the damn food thing? Why are they holding on? Why are they still selling us poisoned food? Which
I was just getting ready to mention, that Trump goes and eats at McDonald's, and then the first time McDonald's ever had a salmonella or
E. coli,
recall on McDonald's. On the quarter.
Well, the deep state owned McDonald's too, so that don't make no sense. They own them all.
I think what it is they had to make Trump look bad, so they created their own issue. They couldn't let him have that moment. They had to deflate it, even if it cost them. Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Then Carol Cake Girl. Get the guy who sells cameras to fix Shelby up so she can do On the Road. Everyone would love to see her. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a camera from him as soon as I figure out what I want to get, and I'm just going to give her mine.
He was telling me today, boy, you'd love one of these. He said they're really cool.
Yeah, well, I need one that zooms in. And I got to play around. I'm going to go down and
this one zooms. Yeah, this one does all that.
Yeah, but how does it zoom? With a button? Is it easy to zoom it?
Actually, I'm still stuck in 4K. It's only got a two times zoom in 4K. So I'm trying to get it down to 1080p so I got a bigger zoom, but it's a button right on the back. It's real cool.
Yeah. The other
I
thing,
just got it today, and I haven't learned how to use it yet.
the other thing too, the more fancy the camera gets, the more the more the damn card takes to whenever I load it up, it's got too much meg in it and it takes forever to run through my software. And I don't need that much. I don't need like Brian Bodkin, he'll send me one of these little memory cards and then I'll go to download some off of his camera and it's like, a huge file.
Yeah, you don't need to run it in 4K. You just run it in
Yeah,
1080. Yeah.
I need to be able to adjust the information on that thing.
But these podcasts, I pop them up to HD when
I do
upload
too.
them. They upload to HD.
They're fast though because their server is, the way that when we're mailing stuff back and forth, it takes a long time to mail some of that stuff.
If I just take it right off of YouTube and run it into, or if I just take it right off of Zoom and run it into YouTube, it goes
fast.
It goes up standard definition. But if I send it to you and you edit it, and then I put it up on YouTube, it goes into standard definition and it converts to high definition, which I don't see much difference in it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And it's amazing because I've screenshot some pictures on my phone before and mailed it and then put it up here on the podcast. And it's really clear just off of a screenshot from a phone. So technology is amazing. Yeah. So we'll work on that there, Carol. We'll try to get Shelby, Shelby's a little shy about that. I had to work with her on some of that stuff. Reverend Randall, I'm sure the survivors appreciate the funds. Least we can do to let them know they're not forgotten. Yeah, and they do appreciate it. And I'm sure, they're all getting their checks about now. Leslie will be getting her check pretty soon, right, Craig? And
yeah, I sent them out. Sent them out Monday. Yeah, so yeah, they'll all be getting them. Yeah, yeah. Everybody's getting to the age where they're going to. I hear Leslie's been having some issues, and Paul Welsh. I just sent him money, and he just got out of the hospital, and Gene's always having issues. So yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be ramping up some auction stuff on here to help them out. And that way everybody wins, you get something cool and they get some money for it. So we're going to start working on that. And, try not to be too expensive with it. But at the same time, it's pretty collectible stuff. See, Maverick says, them PV amps are stunning. I'm considering the PV option mostly for the love of Mississippi, USA, made in USA, and the fact that it's Skynyrd. My first amp was a little PV Decade, 1982. Craig, what model are those heads?
Those ones up on top of there?
Yeah.
God, I don't remember the model numbers or none of that stuff. They're just Mesas.
Yeah. Well, you were telling me earlier that you had two heads that you used because, and one guy in here explained, which I'm going to read his comment. It was really good information that turning the bias up on those amps really made them hot. And it burned the tubes out faster. So that's probably why you guys had a backup head.
Yeah, we changed the tubes all the time in them. But yeah, we didn't run on stage. We used one of them bottom 412 cabinets, and then we used a head on top of that, it had two speakers in it, like a Fender Twin. It was a PV Twin, had two JBL 5150s, I think, in them, or something like that with numbers. And then the head that's on the top of that other speaker cabinet went on top of the other head, so that if had a problem with the one head, that we could just switch heads real quick. But
which makes good sense. Yeah.
yeah.
And you said that those amps were live at the Fox, right?
I believe we had the tweed. First we had the black, and then we got the tweed. We had to special order those tweed ones. And then we wanted to go with natural wood, but Peavy wouldn't make us natural wood, so complete. So we just had to get the cabinets off of them, just wood before they covered them, and then they sent them to us, and then we put polyurethane finish on them and made natural wood.
They look cool. Man, they do. They look great in that.
But I think all those natural wood ones got destroyed in the flood in Nashville, because that's where they stored their equipment there at Soundstage in Nashville.
A lot of people lost. I mean, the Great Flood. Peter Frampton lost.
I think they lost a lot of those natural wood cases. I think they lost there in that flood.
Yeah, you can't man. You can't fight water. Water will win every time. Justin Alexander says, "Thanks for clearing up the myth about the electronics." I was sick of hearing it. LOL. About how everybody said it was a Marshall electronics inside a PV cabinet. I heard that for so long.
No.
Yeah, and people used to insist on it. But Craig says the trick was turning the bias up. So. Winslow Red Cross. There's cool pics of Ed, Alan, and Gary with their guitars in Hell House. Griff, I do agree. If you could go back in time, I agree with you. I'd like to go back to the Hell House. Remember they asked you, Craig, if you could go back in time again? Yeah. I think. I mean, I wasn't there. I mean, if I knew now what I know, if I'd have known then what I know now, I'd have taken my damn motorcycle out there to Hell House, and I'd have snuck through that fence, and I'd have rode up there with a doob, and I'd have come flying up there, and I'd have handed it to Craig. I was only about 13, and I'd have said, "Craig, man, hit this," and he couldn't have kicked me out of there if I rode up there and handed it.
That sounds exciting to be out there at the Hell House when they're writing, but it was pretty damn boring. I mean, you're sitting there in that freaking heat all day long, and you're listening to them play the same stuff over and over, and they don't know what they're doing. And it's before Ronnie writes any words, and they're just sitting there, and they're coming up with a basic track, the drums and the bass, and then they put a rhythm track on it, and then they and then they work up all the parts. It's
Did they have a recorder there, Craig?
No, they had no recorders out there. And it was, everybody learns their part, and it's not like a big jam session where everybody's in there, I don't know. It's all different. And then Ronnie's walking around, trying to write words and stuff, and it's and they're trying to learn their parts. And when Bob was doing it, God, Bob had such a hard time learning his parts, and it was just sitting there for hours while Bob's trying to learn these parts. That's why Ed hated Bob so much, man.
Well, who was it that was on his ass about it? Was it?
Well, I don't, he was, I don't, there was, I remember Ronnie looking at Bob like, why are you having such a hard time freaking playing that part? you know.
And then he'd go out and he'd whistle for Joe Crimp out there
You
riding his
know,
horse. And then
why are
Crimp
you
would come
having
up.
such
Yeah.
a hard time with the timing on that part? You know, yeah, it was. The whole thing in a conglomeration was cool, but to be out there all day, it got kind of monotonous.
Yeah, but you got to hear the damn song be born though. You heard him like going over and over and over with something, and then finally, when it all came together and you heard it done, you had to be like, well, you were probably so sick of hearing it by then, it wasn't anything amazing to you, right?
It takes days. Sometimes those songs just don't come together. Sometimes somebody has got an idea for a song, but it just don't work out right.
But
Sometimes,
they wrote them so fast.
but sometimes it took a couple of days. To work
Would
on
they
it.
would they like stop and go, I think you
figure
ought to
out
do this,
figure
you
out the
know?
arrangements or do the arrangements differently. They had to.
Well, Craig, did
You
you
know.
hear like Ed stop and go, Alan, why don't you do this, and then I'll do this, and then Gary,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'll do this, and I mean, is that what kind of stuff you heard, or
Well, yeah. I mean, they would just sit there and try to write parts. They would just try to write
did
their
you
own
ever
parts.
witness Ronnie go, hold it right there, and then put some words to something, and then
He
and
more or
then
less just walked around. He just more or less just kind of let them do their thing and kind of walk around, and try to write words. And then he'd come in and say,
did he go outside a lot and then come
oh
back
yeah,
in? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And you could tell he was listening to it, and then he was just kind of like,
yeah. Sometimes he would sit right there in the middle of the room and really concentrate right in the middle and kind of watch everybody. But a lot of times he just stand there and walk around outside and listen.
and so when he started singing, did you think to yourself, damn, did he just made that shit up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was kind of
Because
amazing.
if you don't write it down, you never saw him write it down, huh?
No, it's like I said before when Ed King came up with the song "I Need You," and oh God, what's that guy's name? Parker or something? What was that guy's name? That lived out in California. Me and Ed went to his house, and they arranged "I Need You" and kind of made a rough tape of their arrangement of it. And then Ed took the tape to Ronnie and played it for Ronnie, what they had done. And Ed said, the title of the song was "I Need You," and played the arrangement for him. And it wasn't 20 minutes till Ronnie had that song done. I
No
mean,
shit.
done. I mean,
So you
every
was there
word.
and saw that, huh?
Yeah, yeah. The first time he sang it, he never changed it. He listened to it. He wrote it in his head, and he said, "Okay, I'm ready," and then sang it, and it was done. It was amazing. Yeah.
That's why Ed King, and I've talked to Sharon King about it, and she said that Ed was just amazed by Ronnie's ability
That
to,
was amazing.
yeah,
Watching Ed and Mike Porter, that was his name, arranged that song and handed the tape to Ronnie, and Ronnie listened to the arrangement and wrote the words and had it done in 20 minutes. He had that song done, and they
damn.
recorded it. Yeah, that was amazing.
And you don't really know when you hear it, you don't know how great it's going to do as far as, uh, you know, uh,
And the rest of the band just kind of just had it all done too. I mean, as soon as they heard it, that song was done. I mean, it was just they just did it. It was done.
yeah,
They just
and
kind of just wrote it, right there.
and a great song.
Yeah.
Damn good one. Yeah, that's kind of stuff is what we like to hear, is how that Ronnie created the music and Craig was there listening to that shit. every now and then Craig gets in a zone, man, starts spewing out some of the skin information. You guys just got to hang around for it, man. And every now and then it happens. He's like a savant.
It's them parasites dying.
Yeah.
They put off a.
Speaking of that, Justin Alexander says, "Hey, Craig and Griff, want to come over and check out my parasites?" Yeah, man, where's my flashlight? Yeah, I'll come over and my flashlight died. I used it too much last night looking. Let me see here where we're at. Joe Schmo. I love the new format. Skynyrd, conspiracy, analyzing, diet talk, whatever. Yeah, and then he says, I would love to have been at the Fox Theater when they did One More from the Road. Have any memories of that, Craig? He asks.
Not, I do, but I don't know. It was like,
Well, it wasn't any different than anything else.
well, I had, my family was up there with me, and everybody's family was up there with them, so it was kind of like a big family thing, and then all the who's who and whatever were all showed up there. There was a lot of people that just showed up there and knew that was a special event and showed up, and there was a lot of sound trucks, and just the setting up for the recording, and it was busy. And then there was a lot of photo shoots going on. There was a lot of pictures taken. Yeah, it was the
huge deal.
That's where we took the picture of the crew and the band, and Artimus's son was in the middle of Ronnie's legs, and there's a lot of stuff went on there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool time.
Yeah,
that would be a great one to have been like that one. And
Chad and Chris were, messing around the whole time they were there, and at the time of the picture was taken, Chad was over Chris ran out there in between him, and Chad didn't go,
Chad missed it.
But Chad was right there too, but he didn't go in between them like Chris did.
Yeah, he didn't realize it later on. It'd be cool. And Tuxedo Manor had a couple questions I guess he's been asking and we missed. Did the band ever meet or play a show with Eric Clapton?
Yeah. In Memphis.
Oh, yeah, Memphis?
They played with Eric Clapton. And it said Skynyrd singed God's beard. I think that was the headline. Yes.
In the paper?
Clapton wasn't playing well at that time. He was
heroined out.
Yeah, he had a guitar player that was playing most of his parts, and Gary and Alan were kind of in shock that
I know. I remember. I saw.
Oh, we're playing with Clapton, and then he didn't do well, and the headline was Skynyrd singed God's beard. I think that's what it was. I think that.
Yeah, I saw Eric Clapton and J.J. Cale, and I'm going to have to say I left. It was horrible. If I could talk to Eric, I'd say, man, you owe me $8.76 on that one. that he didn't even play his guitar. He had somebody else playing.
Yeah.
And J.J. Cale, man, I didn't really get it back then. I didn't think, now I look at J.J. Cale and wow, he was amazing. But to see him in concert, I wasn't like real thrilled. That whole concert, I had my girlfriend with me, and I thought to myself, man, I'm wasting time in here. I need to get the hell out of here and go parking somewhere instead, because this ain't good at all. I think I even told Sally, the nanny, that. I told her to tell Eric I want my money back. Um, yeah. Then the other thing that he asked, the times here. This is a cool question here. I don't know, Craig. I'm sure you can answer this. Uh, the times Lacey was on the road with you guys, how did you hide the craziness and the drugs from
We
Lacey?
didn't.
Did it right in front of him? Did you?
Well, we didn't exploit it, but we didn't hide it either.
But you weren't like
Oh, maybe we
you weren't like
kind of
going,
did.
there you go, Lacey.
Yeah, we didn't lay out lines while Lacey was around, but yeah, we'd
But
go
he
in
knew
the
what was
tuning room.
going on.
We'd just yeah we'd set it up in the tuning room or something and go, hey, we got shit set up in the tuning room. Go in there. Yeah, we just kind of worked around it.
I thought it was a great question because I never thought of that. But yeah, you didn't want to like doing some blow right in front of Lacey. You can't take your shirt
We
off in
did
front of his
drugs. We
wife.
did drugs right on the damn airplane when we were flying. We just put cocaine in a guy one of them nasal sprayers and passed it around.
Damn. Did the pilots know what was going on?
The commercial planes, no. I mean, yeah, commercial planes. We just put
Oh, the
cocaine in
commercial
one of
planes.
them
I was talking about
nasal
the.
sprayers, and we just passed that thing around when we were
How about
flying.
the Convair when you were
Hell,
on the
I've
Convair?
smoked hash on a damn commercial plane before. I mean,
What
just didn't sit there and do it. Just take hits.
what about on the Convair? What the pilots think of all of that shit?
Oh, they didn't care.
They didn't care y'all were blowing weed and it might
Oh,
have been.
hell no. We did all kind of shit in there. They didn't care.
Yeah, and they didn't care you had fuel or not either. I think some of that
No,
some of
they
that
didn't
weed
care.
blew up there and they were like wasn't paying attention. Yeah. That was pretty good questions there, Tuxedo Manor. Thank you for that. Sorry I missed them. Wayne, let me see. Wayne said you say the election was stolen, Griff, and I used to think that too. If the election was stolen, then how did the Republicans that ran in 2020 get elected? Because the Republicans are just as corrupt as the damn Democrats, man. They're both in the same shit together, and they probably, they figure out who needs to win and to keep shit balanced. But when it comes to Mr. T, they don't want him in there. They're going to figure something out on that. It's coming. This you'll see something big coming. They're going to flip the chessboard on this pretty soon. Craig and I both we talk about it all the time, and
Well,
we're
they're
just
gonna
waiting.
they're gonna either cut the power or cut the cut. They're gonna cut the. I don't know. They're gonna cut the power probably, and they're gonna cut the internet and all the whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, this is really. I don't think people realize how volatile things are right now. They're just going around with their normal life. Oh, they're worried
I
about, stupid things when there's some really big shit getting ready to happen.
I don't know if this is all a movie. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, it's damn
Got
sure.
a
I hope
weird
it's a
ending. I
movie.
know that.
I hope it's a movie. Um, Linda Jolakava. I hope I didn't butcher that there, Linda. I'm a musician in the Netherlands, and I do love the show. The McDonald's here is like how the American McDonald's was in the 70s. Wow, that's just goes to show you right there, man, that they're trying to kill us over here, and they got good McDonald's over there in the Netherlands.
I heard they got some really good stuff in Japan. They got a really good McDonald's in Japan. It's totally different than it is here.
Yeah, they probably got some of that good Japanese beef over there in the hamburgers. Yeah, Linda, Craig and I, we've been looking for a place to stay in the Netherlands when we go over there next time. Haven't we, Craig?
Yeah, right.
You could show us around, man. Troy
That's a nice
Gunter.
place. I like the Netherlands, Holland, and all that.
Yeah, oh yeah. I
Yeah,
worked with some guys from Holland. Those guys are
Sweden,
pretty radical.
Sweden, Holland. Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
really cool over there. I liked
Yeah.
Holland.
There's a company called Mammoet, and they're out of Holland, and they're like a huge company, and they pick anything up hydraulically. Um, I don't care how heavy it is, they can lift it. Giant, huge things. And Mammoet is, I think, elephant in Norwegian or Holland. And so yeah, that's their mascot is an elephant. And we worked with those guys on whenever we refit the crawler for the Artemis rocket that it had to haul out to the pad in that Mammoet. Yeah, so I wonder if you've heard of them, Linda. Put in the comments, have you heard of Mammoet before?
Yeah, we have that guy that sends us donations from Germany from Hawk
Oh
Industries.
yeah.
He does the fire products. He does over there.
Yeah, and
He
somebody I
sends us
remember
a
that
donation from there.
commented from Thailand once. And yeah, anybody listening overseas and throw a comment in there for us so we know who our overseas friends are, if you don't mind, and like and subscribe and throw a comment in there and say hi. Appreciate that.
And say how tall you are and how much you weigh.
Say how much you weigh
Say what you
and how
think
much your
about
wife weighs.
obesity in the USA.
Yeah, say, Linda's probably not fat. She wouldn't be listening to this if she was fat. But not that there's anything wrong with that, Linda. If you want to be fat, that's okay. That's Craig's thing, man. I agree with him, but I'm not a basher. uh,
I'm a fat shamer and I'm proud of it. I used to be fat though. I have a right to be a fat shamer.
yeah, okay.
I'm really glad I'm not a fat effer anymore. That would really suck bad, in my opinion, you fat effers.
You gotta love that laugh at the end. Oh, Troy Gunter had another great time at Gilsburg at the monument this year. Special thanks to Dwayne Easley, the survivors that were able to come, also the rescuers, the board members, the volunteers, and the sheriff's department. See you all again next year. They had a really great monument. Was great this year, Craig. We missed it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't it surprised me that we didn't have a bunch of shenanigans going on.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the weather was perfect. I heard the music was awesome. There was a lot of people there, and people just had a great time. And
Yeah, I'd like Jim Brace was there. I'd like to see Jim Brace.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of remember him now that I've seen his face. I kind of remember him from back then.
If you guys want to hear a little bit of story about the bus that crashed into the bank, go down to the comments on this podcast. Not this one, the last one, which was what, Craig? Uh, what's
236.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and go to Kagi. That's Kent Griffith, and he said that Alan told him something that made the bus crash. I'm not going to tell you what it was. Just go in there and read it. I can't read all of Kent's thing. I'll be here all night because he put some like long ones in there, but there's a lot of good information in it. And you guys, whenever you see his posts, they're really good to read the whole thing. So or Cagey. Go down there and look at that comment. And then, oh yeah, Steve Jones says, Griff, USW, United Steelworkers. Yeah, yeah, I know who they are there. I just got a little flubbed up there when I was trying to read my own writing, your comment there. And but I know, yeah, I work with a lot of iron workers, man. I had iron workers in my crew. I used to hire any chance I got, I would hire an iron worker because those guys they knew what they were doing. They weren't afraid of work, and they didn't put up with any bullshit, and they got the job done. And Odum's an iron worker, and that's why he and I get along so well, because we both we know about that kind of stuff. You know, we both worked on iron, and we know a lot about that. But yeah, Steve Jones, I believe that the United Steelworkers are probably flipping to the Trump side. I would hope. Cheesehead wants to know, who was Jim Brace, Craig?
He worked for Shoko or Clearlight. I think it was Clearlight. I'm thinking, yeah. I think he worked with Clearlight. Not quite sure what he did. He's worked for Shoko or Clearlight. I can't remember which one.
If I move real slow, you can see my guitar fading in and out in the background back there. That's just this green screen thing going on. So he worked for either Shoko or Clearlight.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was sound or lights. I think he was lights, but I'm not sure. Because I think he was a sound guy. I think he was a sound guy for Willie. I think he ran.
Yeah, that's right. He did.
Oh.
He worked for Willie Nelson.
So I don't know whatever it says on that monument stone. It says Jim Brace. So I don't know if it says sound tech or light tech.
Yeah, I'll ask Gene. Because he knew he talked to him. They were out there. He talked to him. Let's see, David Hester. Not surprised someone jumped up on the stage naked. You could see people streaking around everywhere back in the '74 time frame. Remember Ray Stevens, that song, The Streak? Yeah, that's kind of weird because me and my buddies, we have breakfast once a week, and we were talking about that song when he wrote that. We were talking about guys that play the guitar that you would never know played that good, and yeah, Ray Stevens, one of them, man. A lot of guys that are pretty talented and they're hiding it. Let me see here. Tate Clark Music. This guy sounds like he's got it going on. He's an electronic pro here. Those PV amps are the Mace model 160 watts at full power. Running the bias hot gives the amp more volume and a dirtier sound. The trade-off is the amp will run hotter and push hotter and burn tubes out quicker. A hot bias will make the tubes burn out a lot faster. And that's probably why Craig had a couple heads. You know?
Yeah.
So he was ready.
Yeah, we always check the tubes to make sure they were shining a nice color blue. They were shining a nice color blue. They were still good.
That's such a great, just to see a tube glowing in there, like that's so cool, man.
You could tell when they were going bad. The good ones did shine real nice, pretty blue color. Whenever you burned a tube like on the stage and you had to swat to another head, did you fix the tube in the one that burned and have it back up again? Well, it usually wasn't the tube that went out that was the fault. I wasn't the amp guy, so I knew about those amps was how to turn the bias up and how to myself, the tubes were still good. I'm not an electronics guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were a all around guy. You knew
I
a
know a
little bit
little
about.
bit. I know a
Yeah.
little, and I can guess the rest.
Right.
I'm not
I
gonna
know a little
sit here
about it.
and pretend like I'm an amplifier guy because I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Ronnie Parker says, been watching Fortune Child for a while. They have a really classic rock sound. Yeah, those guys have got a lot of new great songs, and they're I think they're going to go somewhere, man. They're getting looked at pretty hard. Black Crows, I think they're doing something with them, and they're getting ready to go over to Europe and do a tour. So keep listening. It's kind of weird. The drummer's the singer, but you remember the Eagles. Don Henley came out from behind the drums, and then somebody else started playing drums, and then he kind of because they got a really great singer, and I think that band's going to evolve because they got a great too. That Buddy Crump, man, the guy really. You can go on the Griff Martin files to Whitey's when we were out there, and I videotaped Buddy Crump playing slide. My God, man, the guy was shredding. He was tearing it up. Him and Zach Lane. If you go to Griff Martin files and look up the Manatee Fest when we did the celebration of life for Gary Rossington, yeah, that was pretty cool. So go check that out. And that does conclude the comments and the questions, Craig. And there was a lot of good skin information in this podcast today. So
Yeah,
guys.
Fortune Child's a good band, or Kevin Elson wouldn't have messed with them. They didn't have any.
Oh yeah,
they didn't have anything going. I mean,
well, Buddy Crump has had a lot of people that know what they're doing show him a lot of cool things, and when he was a young man, and he's been blessed to have an upbringing in Jacksonville because there's a ton of people that recognize his skills, and they've been there helping him,
Yeah,
and
he's
then,
still young. Yeah, he's still,
And then running into Brandon Campbell, who's a amp expert. Him and Kent Griffith, the guys are really great at working on equipment, and yeah, they just got a click going on there. And one thing you got to say is they're consistent. They are consistent.
Oh, they got a gig with with Black Crows,
Oh
open
yeah,
up for the Black Crows. That's a
standing ovation.
step in the right direction for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah.
Now they didn't have all the fanfare, like they were out there, and they didn't have all that great lighting on them and spotlights. And when the Black Crows came out there, they didn't want to have Fortune Child blow them off the stage.
Well,
or
that's the
anything.
way it always is.
Right? Yeah.
Opening bands only get the backlights, and very limited to what lights they get. The lights
Right.
up there belong to the headline band, and the opening band just barely get any lights at
Yeah.
all. That's what I've told the story before, when we would open up for bands, and I'd go up there and they would say, you can have that light, and you can have that light. You can turn the damn lights off. We don't give a shit. We'll turn on the damn flashlights and kick your freaking ass.
Yeah. Craig and I were laughing about something the other day. We were talking about Keith Moon and people tearing shit up, and what we said was when Sally said, people say the Who, they were bad, but Skynyrd blew them all away as far as radical tearing shit up.
Yeah, they said, well, who was the most rowdy band you ever worked for? And she said, you'd have to put the Who and the Stones together, and they still wouldn't beat Lynyrd
I
Skynyrd.
know.
They were nuts.
Yeah, she said that on our podcast. Yeah.
You could put the Who and the Stones together, and they still weren't as crazy as Skynyrd.
Yeah, and the reason she quit was because Alan Collins just missed Craig a foot with a bullet out of this rifle.
Well, that's
And
what
she said,
did
"I'm
it. When
done."
you start pulling guns out in front of English people, they just lose their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're afraid to death of guns and shit like that.
Oh yeah, because they don't have them over
They
there.
go on their fox hunt,
Right.
So
Well, you guys watch that Gene Odum on the road here at the tail end here. Don't go anywhere yet. And after a while, Crocodile. See you later.
yeah. See you later, alligator, at the Wild Crocodile. And that was podcast 137. And that's a wrap. Cut. We're out of here.
All right, I'm here in Inverness where Gene Odum lives, and I came up here to get Gene to sign these letters of authenticity for the Hell House wood that he donated. Yeah, there's one right there.
This is the original. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. And then Gene was signing this one, and he messed the date up on it. And he goes, "Damn, Griff, sorry about that." And I said, "No, man. That makes it more valuable." I said, "Just write something underneath it." And so he wrote this underneath it. Says, "White matter disease, say no more, Gene Odum." So that just makes it that much more collectible. But anyway, anytime I'm with Gene here, I like to get like a story from him for the podcast because, he's always got good stories. And I thought one that you guys would like to hear would be that one about the last song that Ronnie Van Zant ever heard. And I've heard the story before, but I haven't got it on video, so I want to get Gene to tell it. And
Psst. Give me a napkin. Thanks, man.
yeah, so Gene, so how did that come about? You were getting ready to get on the plane, and you had a boom box, and you were playing a song, and it was the last song that Ronnie heard. So tell us a little bit about that there, Gene.
It was anybody knows Gene Odum or knew Ronnie, whatever, knew Ronnie was a Merle Haggard fan. Loved Merle Haggard. Merle had just came out with a brand new album, Ramblin' Fever, and just came out with it, and it was cassettes. I got that cassette, I think, on the way to the airport. It just came out, and I had that boombox, and we're going up on the plane, getting to the plane and going up the stairs. And I had that Ramblin' Fever playing on the boombox. I told Ronnie, I said, "Hey man, listen to this. This is Merle's new song, Ramblin' Fever." And all right. And so I had it playing on the boombox. So that's the last song Ronnie Van Zant ever heard was Ramblin' Fever by Merle Haggard. And like some people know that he wanted to sit with Merle and do some writing, and it was being arranged at that time that they could get together and write something, but Ronnie never had the chance to do that. But the last song he ever heard was Ramblin' Fever by Merle Haggard, and if y'all hadn't heard it, pull up Ramblin' Fever by Merle Haggard and you'll hear so I want to die along the highway and rot away like an old highline pole. About traveling, and
So Ronnie was a big Merle Haggard fan, was he?
Oh yeah, man, big Merle Haggard fan.
And whenever he heard the song, what was his reaction to it when he heard it?
He loved it.
Yeah.
And he had taken 2 sleeping pills. Because he had been up all night and he was groggy, and it wasn't long after he was on the plane when we got up and leveled out. It wasn't long after that Ronnie Van Zant was asleep on the floor from them 2 sleeping pills.
Yeah, I actually talked to Leslie, and she said that she gave Ronnie a back rub while he was laying on the floor back there and kind of gave him a back rub. And
I think I remember that.
yeah, and she said that, let me give you a back rub, Ronnie, because his back was hurting, you know, and he was, you know, I guess he was pretty tired or whatever. And
They'd been up all night.
yeah, so that was a. And then you talked to Merle Haggard later, didn't you? And told him that was the last song that Ronnie heard. What did Merle say about that?
Merle played the Florida Theater just a few months before he died. And I knew his driver, and I went down there to talk with him that before sound check. His bus was out front, and as I walked up around the front of the bus, the driver came off. I can't remember the driver's name. And I said, "Hey, Gene, how you doing, man?" "Doing all right, man." I said, "There's Merle on the bus." He went, "Yeah, but he's not feeling good. You know, Merle was sick, real sick." And so he's sitting on that down there. He's sitting right there on the bench. And I leaned up to the door, and I said, "Merle." Yeah. I said, "Gene Odum." I said, "Man, I won't take much time." I said, "I just want you to know that the last song Ronnie Van Zant ever heard was Ramblin' Fever." He took it with him, and Merle just shook his head, you know. And,
Wow.
And I said, "See you later." You know.
Yeah, that had to be pretty surreal for him. What happened to the boombox on the plane? Did it get destroyed on the plane?
Probably tore all the hell.
So you probably never saw it again, huh?
I never saw it again. No. I'm not mistaken that in the front of some of the photographs that people took, that was taken, my briefcase was in one of them photographs, busted out. But I don't know if I ever saw a shot of that photograph I could identify, but it was probably busted all to hell, you know. In the wreckage, you know, in the fuselage.
And what's cool is I sat down here with Gene to get all these things signed, and then I got this picture of Gene with the Hell House wood right here, and I got them all signed. So if anybody's interested in getting a piece of that wood, and it comes with a letter of authenticity, and it also comes with a picture of Gene. Gene's got a Pepsi bottle right there. He's advertising for Pepsi. And I don't know what picture you'll get, but anyway. So and as I sell these pieces, you know, a lot of it goes to Gene to help him out with some of the medical bills, and as always, Gene always appreciates everything that you guys do for him, and he tells me all the time, "Man, I appreciate what you and Craig do as far as that podcast and all the listeners that donate and stuff." So yeah, so Gene, you got a procedure tomorrow you got to go to, and that's, you know, just adding up to all that stuff on your medical bills.
Yeah, I got a procedure tomorrow, prostate procedure. You know, it's kind of I don't know what the right word. Personal. It ain't so damn personal. I'm just they found a little cancer, and they want to do I call it a damn autopsy, because autopsy is easier to say than biopsy.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to biopsy it tomorrow, and then they'll figure out what we're going to do. You know, I'll just take doctor's orders. You know, I was just going to have them take it out, but my daughter said, "No, let the doctors handle everything.
Yeah.
You know, just snatch it out. They might be able to do something. You know, they got other procedures and stuff, but I'm not worried about it."
Well, yeah, you know, and while you guys are looking at this, you guys say a little prayer for Gene when it comes to stuff like that, because he's had melanoma cut off, and now he's got this little issue that he's dealing with. But we're gonna pray and hope Gene gets over that, you know, and it's just something that's not going to be too complicated. So you guys say your prayers for Gene when it comes to that. But Gene's pretty optimistic, and
Oh yeah, man.
I ain't never seen anything get him down yet.
Oh man, hell no. You know, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had about 13 of
Yeah.
cancers cut off. You know, a little while I looked like O.J. Simpson whacked on me with a knife. You know, I was,
Well, that damn doctor might be taking hunks of skin and making a lamp out of it so he can sell it.
it might have been, yeah. But that, you know, we're done with that, thank God, for a while anyway.
All right, Gene. Well, we appreciate the story, man, and everybody loves to hear from Gene Odum. So we'll be doing it again. So you take care, Gene.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for everything you do.